Alright, so what's going on, guys? Today we are going to finally do my upper control arms, ball joints, whatever, on my Accuracy SX. It's actually a pretty simple process, really easy. Don't pay someone to do it, you can do it in your own garage. Probably take like 25 minutes. The things that you're going to need are, for this setup, a few types of 17s and 14s. I have a 17 socket, a 14 socket, a 14 ratcheting wrench, and a 17 ratcheting wrench. That's not ratcheting. I have one though. Ratchet with another 17. The hammer usually needs this to come out, but sometimes you can get it with a rubber one or a claw hammer, whatever you have. And then I use a breaker bar just because sometimes the bolt on the bottom of the fork, there we go, gets stuck sometimes. So that's pretty much it. Pretty simple setup, and let's get into it. So the first thing you want to take out, you can kind of do all this in like whatever order you feel comfortable doing it in. This bottom bolt on the bottom of the fork, bottom of the control arm to the coilover to the lower control arm. This has to come out. This is usually the one that's really tight. I just had mine out the other day though, so it came out pretty easy. And then this nut on threads, and then you can just use a hammer to kind of knock it through. It should come right through, really. Sometimes it doesn't. You can stick a screwdriver in there. Watch, it's not gonna come out this time. Nope. Alright, so I'm just gonna wait and then relieve pressure on that first. So take your 14, and this top bolt it's right here is where it comes out, but on the other side to 14, and that's the top bolt on the fork again. Let's bring it in there. All right.
We're gonna have some trouble.
I'm probably gonna have some trouble. So I'm gonna do my ghetto breaker bar. You just take an extension with a socket on it that fits over your handle. Put it on there. And then it's a breaker bar. That's pretty tight. Okay, and you just take that off. And the bolt should spin out. All these bolts, try not to lose them. They're kind of weird sizes and stuff. These all have ribbing on them on the inside. Just, they're not easy to replace. So I recommend you just try not to lose them. Alright, so I'm going to get that bottom bolt out, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I forgot, you are going to need a 12mm as well. You have to take the coilover out. I mean, you don't have to take it all the way out. You really don't have to take it out. It just kind of depends on your setup, how much room you have. Mine, I got to take it out. So these two bolts that are on the strut brace bar, they are 12mm. So just break those loose, get them off. And then the other three around it are 14s. And these are all pretty simple. It's just like any other coilover or strut disassembly. Okay, so I have my coilover out. It's my Megan Racing coilover. Don't buy these. Get something else. They're like less than a year old, and they're kind of seized, some of them, and they're just not worth the money. Anyway, moving on. In order to do that, you take the 5 bolts that are up here that I just showed you off, and then the 2 on the fork off, and the fork will drop down. This will you'll hold this up and then put some pressure on here to pull it down. See how it's pretty easy actually. And then it'll slot out from here, and you can kind of just swing this out. It's pretty easy. It's self-explanatory. You'll see it when you go to do it. And that's pretty much it. And now we have easy access to the 2 bolts up here, which I'll show you in a second. I don't know if you can see them here and here, these two. they will come out, but they'll hit the spring on my setup at least. So I can't actually get them all the way out without taking the coil out. So the next step, once you've gotten the coilover out, the forks off, everything is kind of out of the way, you want to take some pliers. These sat outside for a long time, and remove the cotter pin that's up in here. Okay, that's your cotter pin. Well, that's mine. It runs through this nut, and this is called the castle nut, and with a hole in the bolt, kind of part of the ball joint, it will lock it in there so that just in case anything happens, it starts to go loose, it won't unthread. A lot of suspension parts, usually all ball joints, have castle nuts and cotter pins, but there's other applications for them too. Make sure you replace this, otherwise it's going to come out like this and you're going to realize that you could have just died on the way home or to work or whatever. Next, I actually want to show you guys why I'm doing this. So, fucking Godspeed is a horrible company. I don't understand how you could like put products out there for the price that you do, and very frustrating. Godspeed, if anyone from Godspeed is watching this, please try to explain what this is. These coilovers were installed less than a year ago, probably about a year ago, end of November last year. And they were brand new. I did them. I'm a mechanic. It wasn't super low yet, and, it hit inside the fender, but it wasn't bad. There's no real reason that this should happen. But let's see if you can hear this. That is literally, look, you can see the ball joint move. It is horrible. And this is the good side. So, thanks Godspeed. Also, your powder coat peels off everything. My friend had yours lowering springs, and they squeaked and peeled. And yeah, skunk too if you're gonna go camber arms on a TSX. All right, so next thing to do, since I've gotten my rant kind of out of the way, you're gonna loosen this. Usually an impact gun or something will make it easier. If it's loose inside here or broken in here, like mine is, the whole assembly will just spin. It won't actually loosen. So you kind of need that shock, or you can put a lot of pressure on it, make it kind of compress back down, and then get it off. So I'm gonna get that off the easiest way I can, and we'll come back. So castle nuts off. Kind of gross. Try to replace those too if you can. You don't have to, but a lot of time they get like nasty because there's suspension. They get rust everywhere. Then comes the fun part. Take your hammer and just try not to break anything. Just hit it here hard. It's pretty much like what an impact hammer would, you're just hammering it. You're just shocking it out, because usually they get stuck in here. They're a tight fit. So just right like here. There we go. Okay. So, there we go. And then if you've got your whole coilover out, the whole fork should come forward. This whole control arm and fork and spindle. You can kind of just lay it off to the side so that it's out of your way. Either way, just try not to put too much pressure on stuff, but as long as you're, within normal range, you should be all right. So let me see if I can get a flash so I can show you. So in here, look at all that peeling crap. There's two 14s, or are they 17? Yeah, they're 14s. Okay, so there's two 14s. There's a 14 here and a 14 here. All you have to do is loosen them both, pull them out, and the whole control arm will come out. So I'll show you that in a few minutes. So here's the piece of shit control arm. See what I mean? Like all this crap peeling off, it's shitty. This ball joint so bad. Look at that. I could have fucking died. Oh my god, it's been like that for so long. Oh. So I contacted them, and I'm trying to just get this ball joint piece so I can at least have like camber adjustment, but it's all the way out anyway. The max this ran was like 5 degrees or something like that. Nothing crazy, you literally loosen these 4 bolts, and then just, if you're gonna go aftermarket control arms and get anything from any company, just don't go Godspeed. Just go like Skunk 2, makes a really, really quality setup. Like, I really wish I got it. They're almost 3 times the cost of these, but it's so worth it because they'll last 5-10 years like the original control arms and ball joints did. So what I did was I just went ahead and got OEM replacement. Open this up. I just went online, found a good set of OEM replacements, and I'm just going to throw them in. I don't really care about the camber. I kind of want to put this car back to stock anyway, so it's not really a big deal. Hopefully they last. See that? Ready? Look at the difference. Wiggling around, spinning and stuff. Can't even move it. Literally can't move it. So that's good. That means it's brand new. This might fold though. Look how fucking thin that is. Oh my god. Whatever. Now I'm just gonna die in another way. Alright, so all you do is put this back in. Put the 2 bolts here and here back in, and then reverse the process. It's pretty easy. You should be able to do it at home with basic tools. I mean, this is mostly Harbor Freight, like cheap stuff. And you can always just use whatever you have. Any sort of ratcheting wrench or regular wrench or anything. Just the most expensive thing here is the jack, but you can use your regular scissor jack as long as you have a jack stand. Always use jack stands. You will die. And it won't be fun. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll be back on the next one.